Hello, my dears. Hello, my darlings. I just finished an incredible talk about my past life in Lemuria, that it just so many different messages came through, some knowings that I didn't even had came through. So I'm really hopeful that you join me for this video. Please give this video a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more multidimensional experiences. I try to give as much information as I possibly can. And as always, please reach out directly and book a call if I could be helpful to you. Enjoy the chat. Hello, my darlings. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Today we are going to be talking about another past life tale. Today we're going to be talking about Sarah in Lemuria. And yeah, this one is an interesting one. I am going to take my glasses off for it. So that is something that I don't really do very often because I cannot see very much in the human world without my glasses. So it's, can't see without glasses, anybody. But so it's interesting that they told me to do this because there's a knowing that happens when we look into each other's eyes right now. You can tell when someone is an old soul. You can tell, when you look into a baby's eyes right now, it's like, what are you? There's a deeper knowing. So what this to me says is that my guides want you to really take the time to maybe get a little bit more comfortable with your gut. If I'm telling this story and there's a knowing happening inside of you, and I can't really physically describe what that physically feels like. I guess deja vu kind of, but there's like an unlocking. Something happens. And this, someone had commented on my Atlantis video. They said, I had a different experience. Like, could you point me in a different direction, or in a direction for, maybe someone who could speak to more my experience? And I think that that's exceptional. Two places to definitely check on are going to be with Elizabeth April. She is an incredible channeler of more of the 2023 timeline, and an incredible clairvoyant gift to this planet. Has helped me woken up. I've been following that channel since the end of 2020 into 2021. So I'm very grateful for EA, as well as Lazarus, the Lazarus material. And I'll leave links below for both of those channels. And Lazarus is a channel that has been around since the 70s, I believe, and there is infinite information and guided meditations for you to discover your own connection to your own Lemurian, Atlantean family, etc., etc. Because just like we have different experiences in 2023 on planet Earth at this time in this space, past lives are going to be very different as well. Where you are in that past life, what you experience, it would be the same thing as you trying to compare your human experience to my human experience. We have very different human experiences, even though we're interfacing right now. So even if my only job for you is to help unlock your knowing that you were a part of the Atlantean time or the Lemurian time, or even if this is just the first space for you to say, I think I'm an old soul and I think that there's more that has been happening back there. Welcome, welcome. So, Sarah in Lemuria. Lemuria was just such a lovely, light-filled place. And when I look to this is where my view comes. Like it's to my right-hand side, and this is where my guides show me my picture. So when I look over here, it's like this sunrise that's coming on this view of Lemuria. And I was a priestess, a young priestess. And when I view her, she looks young to me physically, but it could be that, she was ancient in a young body, or that at the time that we chose for Lemuria to kind of close down, she was still, I want to say in her 20s. I want to say in her early 20s or something like that. 22. She's telling me 22. Cool, honey. And so also when I say past lives, I'm connecting to this version of myself right now. And I'm seeing her in my view right now. So although, you know, in the human brain, we can construct the past, present, future. So this is a past life because I'm not physically embodying that right now. There was a time my consciousness was running that avatar, for lack of a better term, in that time and space. But because time is happening all at the same time, I'm able to see her and interface with her and connect to her here via my view and my portal, my connection to God, and share that with you here on a video that I'll eventually post that will be multidimensional in time and space. So I hope that that multidimensionality, as far as past life are concerned, can be hard to verbalize. It comes out in blips as far as what needs to be said and understood for the specific story that we're talking about right now. I got my coffee flavored protein and I'm vibing today. My human's vibing. This shirt was also a gift from an old neighbor of mine named Ruth. She's 91 years old, and she didn't want to return it. And it just had the Lemurian color scheme to me. Like really, really, really did. This is aquamarine. And it just had that like light blue coloring of Lemuria. This is my view, like I said. So my priestess self, she was very magical. She's very, very magical. The first view that I got of her, she was walking through like a downtown bazaar. It was like a market. And, you know, just picture like, just to give you like a view that I know most of you have, like picture like when Jasmine is walking, like she, you know, left the palace and she's, you know, wearing her things and she's walking down the streets and there's this bazaar happening. There's this big bazaar in this market and everything's happening all at the same time. My gift, the gift that my Lemurian self had, was that whenever I stood in front of someone, their most favorite and comfortable place would materialize, physically materialize. I say I walk up to you, and what would happen is, you know, maybe your grandmother's living room would literally materialize around us, and I'd be standing around you, and there's like it's not, I want to say maybe 4 to 5 feet in diameter, maybe even a little bigger. I want to say 4 feet in diameter around me. That's as big as it would get. And it would just be, but you could see it. So let me paint a picture. I walk up to you, my friend, and your sacred, most sacred of spaces, your happiest of places in the world is your grandmother's living room. So I walk up to you and I'm standing in front of you and we're in the middle of a sidewalk bazaar in Lemuria. But you can't see any of that. All you can see is me and grandmother's living room. And you can feel the red rug underneath your toes, and you can see the pictures. It could be grandmother's living room from the 60s. It could be grandmother's living room from, you know, the 80s, whatever it is. Whenever you're human, your being knew this is safety, this is love, this is home, this is deliciousness, this is where I feel good. This is what I am. Was there instantly. So the first view I had of myself was I was walking through this bazaar, and every step I took, it changed. The scene changed. It was, you know, the person that was running this cart over here, it was their happy place, and there was this person's happy place, and then it was like a toe of the other person's happy place, and it was all this other things. And I'm just walking, and I'm aware of it, and I'm very stoic. I want to use different terms. She's standing and she's so knowing and so powerful, but so quiet and pure and very different. And she's just, yeah, I'm very different, but that's okay. This is why I'm here. Like, she's very like, here we are. This is why I'm here. You're safe. You can feel okay. It's okay. And, you know, so her existence, I mean, this is a time and space where it's not like, what did you do? I wasn't a healer and went about to like show people. I just existed. That was my light. That was my presence. That was my gift. It was just, it was like a muse, like a muse. You just existed, and that's what you did. It was a part of like a very ancient family, but for a lot of the views that I have of my past lives, I'm not, how do I say, a lot of starseeds in 2023 will understand that, you know, when you wake up first, you sometimes are the, you know, the different one of the family. Stand out, don't get along, and you kind of have to be over here. And then, so, you know, think of the Land Before Time when Pangea splits. Sarah! So it's like Sarah's over here and the rest of the family's over here. So that is common in a lot of my views of fractals of past lives, is that I'm removed from my birth family. And this was no different. I had this incredible, I saw this like land, and there was this really beautiful like outdoor veranda that was somewhere that like I knew was like there's a sleeping quarters, like it was like an outdoor veranda that was like a structure. I like want to draw it, but I can't, no, I can't draw it right now. It was like just like an outdoor veranda that was, you know, had like a hard top covering, but there were no real like doors or anything. That was just all open. And there was a place like on the hillside that I would sit under this tree and just observe the pool. I had a wading pool that I would look into that was my portal into viewing all of the other Sarahs all over times and spaces. So there are times that I take my tarot cards and because the back of them is a similar color to this, and sometimes I'll put them out all on top of like a big table. That's like sometimes how I'll clear them, is just I'll put them all out so they all become a number, and then I'll really just like do a little bit of light work or a little bit of energy work on top of them. And sometimes when I'm doing that, my Lemurian self will come through and she'll be spinning her wading pool, and she'll be looking, and that's how I know that it's her and that vibration of a lifetime that I need to connect with, to maybe either exchange some healing information, or maybe there's a fractal of something that I still need to process, that I can gain access to the tools that she has in that dimension, or maybe there's just some loving healing that she's trying to offer to me. I don't always have that full answer, but I know that that feeling, that view, I see when she is trying to connect to me, or when I'm trying to connect to her, or when my higher self, who's also her higher self, is trying to get us to blend certain energies. So it could be a kaleidoscope of different things, different reasons, but whenever I'm called to clear the deck that way, I'm just like, oh, we're going Lemuria, this is nice. So there have been a few other views. I had a protector in this lifetime. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't Jeffrey. It wasn't Jeffrey. It was, and this is something that, you know, I've had old friends have dreams about this and said, oh my God, I saw this. Like, so when, you know, you talk openly about these experiences, you'll start to invoke, like I said at the beginning, your own experiences or other people's own experiences. So definitely like start a dialogue with, you know, either here, you know, comment below, or, you know, with your own friends and family, and say like, oh my God, I just had this remembrance of like, or I had this dream about you, or like yada, yada, yada. And never get discouraged if you have a dream about someone else. That's okay. That might be just like your throat chakra needed to be open to talk more openly about your gifts, and then your own past lives and experience will come to play as well. So never get discouraged how or when or why your messages, your downloads come in. They're just on purpose at that time. And they can also just be like what you feel safe acknowledging and understanding at that time, because safety is key. And especially at higher vibrations, like if you dip into fear, like you're not going to receive your messages. If you're like, when's it coming? When's happening? What's happening? No, then you're not going to receive any of that. So, sorry, my hair is just feeling all wild and crazy today. Whenever at middle parts, I always feel like Atreyu. My Atreyu self comes through. So where was I? Oh, my wolf. So my protector, my beautiful, amazing protector, and this protector was my lifetime protector, my life companion. And it was a wolf man, a wolf person, like not so much like picture like a Beorn type of a person, a type of a being. I also have a complete other fairy past life that I'll deep dive into that had a Beorn type of a being character in that past life. So I don't actually, so let's, it's not a Beorn. A Beorn would be more of a bear person, and that comes from the Tolkien universe. I really want to use like, again, we'll go back to the Neverending Story. Picture like the wolf that comes out, but like a docile, tame human / wolf animal, like if like a wolf and a human breed, kind of like a human and horse is like a centaur, and then like the human and the bear is like the Beorn. This is like a human and a wolf, but he stayed more in like the black fur in like the wolf capacity. He wasn't a shapeshifter, but he spoke eloquently. He like loved proper food and beverage. Like the first few that I had of him was literally like this like big, massive wolf being, but like bringing a cocktail tray of like treats and snacks over to me at my wading pool and was like, here you go, precious, I put this all together for you. And it's like, so, and it's like the tray for me, it's like very much like the Force perspective of like Lord of the Rings, like the tray for me is like this big, and he comes over, he's like, here you go, kid. And I'm like, thanks, honey. It's just like this really, and he's my protector. And one of the most important things about him, it's, you know, think of the universe of like Suki and True Blood, where she can't read Bill's mind or something. And it was like my wolf protector didn't change, like the environment did not change when I was around him, because he was part animal and part human. So that magic was not, I could be around him and I could just be. And I could just be, it was like, how do I say? This is just coming to me now. This is just coming to me now. That's why I couldn't be around even my family. Because it would just turn into their space. It would just turn into what they wanted. And it would, the whole, you know, I never had my peace. I never had my space to just be and to just feel, I'm literally just getting this right now. This is wild. Yeah, so I had to set really healthy space and boundaries from my birth family. And it was really gut-wrenching. It was really gut-wrenching because it was just impossible for me to be around them physically, because the world changed. It was not just the world. Thank you, Sarah, for that. I appreciate it. Is there anything else from this Lemurian lifetime that needs to come through today? She's saying yes. There's a lot of us. Okay. For the Lemurian starseeds, what do the Lemurian starseeds need to know? Then again, there's this fear, and I talked about this in my Atlantean video as well. There's this fear that starseeds, or, you know, not even just starseeds, but if you're an old soul that has a past life in Atlantis or in the, sorry, sometimes like my hand goes when I'm getting a message. And this just Palo Santo, so it just like smells really good when you can't light it on fire. So there's this fear that we have as Atlanteans and Lemurians that when's it gonna go down? When's it gonna envelop it on itself? When is the bad thing gonna happen? When is the world going to end? When is the world going to end? And that's deep. That's deep shit. That's deep shit, pardon me. And if you do not have this language, that must be very intense for your mental health. must be very intense for your mental health. So just no validation that you are not crazy. The world's not going to end. It doesn't happen in this time in space. That does not happen this time around. So I think that's it. This one was very important for me to share with you all, because when it comes to multidimensionality, and when it comes to this space that I'm creating and my multidimensional cafe, that's why it feels like I'm right there with you. And that's why it feels like it's just you and me. Because it really is. Because that gift never went away. It's here and now. So you are at my cafe table with me. You are having a cup of coffee, tea, or just hot water. This is my water and that's my protein coffee. And you are special and you are on purpose. Yes, you are one of billions of human beings down here, but you chose to be here right now, and that's brave. That's very brave. Thank you so much for joining me on our conversation with my past life in Lemuria. I'm thinking that the next one is going to be the fairy past life, and then I have more of like an ancient human, like really like the shamanic Sarah, the little shamanic Sarah. Or we can, talk about the circus performer Sarah. There's a few, but maybe the fairy one, because Beorn was discussed. And actually, yes, that is going to be a really good one, because I'll leave just this before we go, is that the fairy past life came to me back in 2020. And there was a role, the Beorn role, in that past life image that I received. I saw it as one person. Like a person that I had in my life at that time in 2020. And chose actively, we all have free will and we can make as many mistakes as we want. I chose actively not to clear the karma with that Beorn person, with that human being. I still know him in my regular life. I still know him. Because of that choice, another man came into my life, maybe a year and a half later, something like that. Completely different person, completely different age, did not know each other, but he had the knowing of being that Beorn role. This is where it goes completely multidimensional. These are archetypes. This is but because I didn't clear the karma with the first man, I got the opportunity to clear it with the second man. It was a little harsher, a little bit more intense. I got my heart stomped on a little bit. The first person actually helped me with the second person situation. It was very, very convoluted, or not convoluted, but it's hard to describe right now. But just so you know that these past lives, this is all happening at the same time. Think of the can line of Sarahs. There's Lemuria, there's, Atlantis, there's Sarah here, there's the fairy Sarah, and there's, all the different Sarahs happening. So if I'm at a certain place in my awakening, in my ascension, I'm going to see the view of issues that I needed to clear in that past life. And when I clear those things in that past life, or I'm given the opportunity to clear things in my current reality, it in turn multidimensionally clears things in that past life so I can move forward. Does that make sense? If we choose not to clear that karma, another being similar to that soul, similar to another archetype that needs to clear a similar soul contract to mine, comes into my life, and we both again get the opportunity to clear that karma and move forward. And again, I'm using terms like karma and past life very brazenly to make this as accessible as possible, but I think we're getting it. All right, we're gonna shut this down. There we go. Please take some deep cleansing breaths, and please drink as much water as that you need. If you're very called to this, then there's definitely some old soul stuff happening, some past life stuff happening. So be very kind to yourself over the next 24 to 48 hours as you really integrate this new knowing and information. Sleep as much as you possibly can and drink way more water than you think is necessary. And please reach out directly to book a call. I'm happy to hold space for you and to let you unpack a little bit of whatever is coming through for you right now. So I'm here for you individually, and please come back and watch this video as many times as you need. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.